What's the best soil you can use for filling up a raised bed? Behind me, I've got a soil test that I think is really revealing. Let's talk about it. So what I've got here is just a little experiment I set up to look at some different types of soil that we have here at the store and that you may have at your local garden center near you. Now what I did for this experiment is I put an identical tomato seedling in each one of these pots about 3 weeks ago, and I'm just checking on how's the growth going to be over the next month or so. And what I've done here is I have ranked them from what I would say is worst to best. And we'll just go ahead and talk a little bit about each one because there's a lot of confusion here for new gardeners. So this here is what we call landscape mix or rose mix. We grow roses in it and they do really well in it. Got a lot of bark and some sand and other types of compost, but this is the worst one. The leaves are really discolored. You can see the dark veins and kind of pale green, but interestingly enough, it has enough nutrients that it is starting to flower and set some fruit in here, even though the plant is puny. Now this here is a composted cow manure with a really clever name, but it's not supposed to be a standalone product. It is a soil additive, but I wanted to see how it's doing. And the leaf color is a lot better on this as compared to the last one. And it's growing just pretty slow. This is a commercially available bagged raised bed mix, and plant has nice coloration, it's flowering. Once again, it's just not growing very quickly. I do want to key in on this one for a little bit longer. This is compost, and a lot of people recommend filling up raised beds with compost. I do not, for a couple of reasons. If you were to just look at this plant as a whole, you might think that this is a healthy looking tomato plant, but as we move down the line, you're going to see a lot better plants in other products. And I do see some issues of some leaf curling. This could be some herbicide damage if there was a little bit of residue from where this compost was sourced, like from grass clippings or something like that. Or it could just be that it's a little bit too hot for this plant. But overall, it's not too bad of a growth. Now this is a mix that we mix up for flower beds here at the store. We sell it in bulk, and it's got sand and compost and topsoil and some other stuff in there. And so this is actually doing pretty well, although this is a very heavy mix. It's really more designed for ornamentals than vegetables, but it does pretty good with the veggies. This one coming in second place is another commercially available bagged mix. This is a planting mix from Fox Farm, and this is a really healthy looking plant. It's got lots of branching, starting to get quite a few flowers, and even set a couple of fruits in there. Super nice color on the leaves. This is probably the best raised bed planting mix that I have seen on the market. However, it does not compare to this potting soil that is from Lambert. And this is actually what we plant all of our bedding plants in and all of our vegetables in. And you can see why, because this is just growing so much bigger and faster and fuller than any of the other plants in this trial. To me, this is just proof that if you're wanting to have immediate good results with a raised bed or container gardening, you really can't beat potting soil. Compost is awesome. A lot of these other products are really good, but a lot of them take time to build up the proper microbes in the soil in order to get established so that they can then develop into a really nice soil. But this potting soil straight out of the bag can give you incredible results because the one that we use is a high quality potting soil that already has beneficial microbes mixed in it, a little bit of fertilizer, and it has an amazing structure that allows the roots to grow very quickly. I really want to emphasize this. If you were just to look at this plant at your house, you might think that you're doing a great job of growing tomato plants, but then you look at one like this next to it, and you can really see the difference of what a really high quality soil can make when it comes to how fast your plant is going to grow. And remember, when you're growing vegetables, you need them to grow and produce as fast as possible because you only have a short amount of time where you can get them to do well at your house. Now there is a ton more that I could say about this topic of creating a really nice soil in containers or raised beds, but I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is, so we may have to continue this on a part 2.